The restaurant fell silent when the manager's voice cut through the air. "Madam, if you're not ordering anything for yourself, you'll have to leave." Every eye turned toward the poor woman standing by the table, her hands shaking as she pulled her little daughter closer. The child clutched a half-eaten plate of fries, unaware that her mother's dignity was being stripped away in front of strangers. Just as the manager took a step closer to escort them out, a chair scraped loudly across the floor behind them. A man stood up. He was a single father, quiet, unnoticed until that moment. And what he did next would change not just their lives, but everyone watching. Stay till the end, because what began as humiliation would turn into a lesson so powerful, no one in that restaurant would ever forget it. Chapter 1: The humiliation no mother should face. Chapter 1: Hook. She walked in hoping for a small moment of happiness for her child. She walked out carrying a wound that would last a lifetime, until one stranger refused to stay silent. The woman's name was Aisha. She hadn't eaten properly in 2 days, but she didn't mind. Hunger had become familiar, almost invisible, the way pain sometimes does when it lives with you long enough. What mattered was her daughter, Noor. Noor was 6, bright eyes, worn shoes, and a smile that appeared even when life gave her no reason to smile. That morning, Noor had asked quietly, "Ami, can we eat outside today?" Just once. Aisha hesitated. The money in her purse was barely enough for groceries. But it was Noor's birthday. So she said yes. They chose a small restaurant, not fancy, not cheap. Just a place Noor had pointed at with excitement as they passed by many times before. Aisha ordered a kid's meal. Fries, nuggets, a small juice box. When the waiter asked, "And for you, madam?" Aisha smiled politely. "Nothing for me, thank you." She watched Noor eat with pure joy, wiping ketchup from her chin, talking about school and dreams of becoming a teacher. Aisha nodded, laughed, hid her hunger behind love. That's when the manager noticed. He walked over slowly, eyes scanning the table, the single plate, the untouched glass of water. His smile was thin. "Madam," he said loudly enough for nearby tables to hear, "this is a dine-in restaurant. You can't occupy a table if you're not ordering." Aisha felt heat rush to her face. "I ordered for my child," she said softly. "That's not how it works," he replied. "Either order something for yourself, or please leave." The room felt smaller. People stared, some looked away, some whispered. Noor stopped eating. "Ami, did I do something wrong?" That broke her. Aisha stood up, her hands trembling as she gathered their things. She didn't argue. Poor people learn early, arguing only makes things worse. "I'm sorry," she whispered, though she wasn't sure to whom. As she turned to leave, her eyes were wet but her back stayed straight. She wouldn't cry here. That's when the sound came. A chair scraping the floor. Chapter 2: When one voice refused to stay silent. Chapter 2: Hook. He had been invisible his whole life. But in that moment, his voice became impossible to ignore. The man who stood up was named Imran. A single father. A widower. A man who knew what it felt like to count coins before meals and choose between dignity and survival. He had watched everything. The way the manager spoke. The way Aisha's shoulders tightened. The way the little girl's smile disappeared. Imran looked at his own son sitting beside him, same age, same innocence. And something inside him snapped. "Excuse me," he said firmly, his voice calm but unshakable. The manager turned, annoyed. "Yes, sir." Imran stepped forward. "You just embarrassed a mother for feeding her child. She violated policy." The manager snapped. Imran nodded slowly. "Then your policy is broken." The room went quiet. Imran reached into his wallet and placed it on the table. "Bring her the most expensive meal on the menu. And another one pack to go." The manager hesitated. "Sir." "And while you're at it," Imran continued, louder now, "bring menus to every table here and explain why some people deserve respect and others don't." A few people clapped. Others stood. Someone else offered to pay too. Aisha stood frozen, tears finally spilling. "No," she whispered. "Please, I don't want trouble." Imran turned to her gently. "You're not trouble, you're strength." He knelt in front of Noor. "Happy birthday," he said softly. The manager's face burned with shame as the entire restaurant watched him apologize. But the moment didn't end there. Imran invited Aisha and Noor to sit with him and his son. They ate together, laughed, shared stories. Before leaving, Imran handed Aisha a folded piece of paper. A job referral, a support group for single parents. And his phone number. "Not charity," he said. "Community." Months later, Aisha would stand on her own feet again. Nor would remember her birthday not as the day her mother was humiliated, but the day kindness showed up when they needed it most. And Imran, he taught his son something no school ever could. When the world tries to silence the vulnerable, one brave voice can change everything. Final message, inspiring close for viewers. Sometimes heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes they sit quietly, watching, waiting for the moment when silence becomes betrayal. If this story touched you, remember, you don't have to be rich to stand up for what's right. You just have to be human.